Ok chicos, buenos días. El día de hoy vamos a continuar con la serie del verbo to be, pero ahora en negativo, ¿sale? Here we go. Ok, we are going to start with the verb to be, but in negative. So please listen. I am not, I'm not. He is not, he's not, he isn't. She is not, she's not, she isn't. It is not, it's not, it isn't. We are not, we're not, we aren't. You are not, you're not, you aren't. They are not, they're not, they aren't. Afraid of, hungry, thirsty, sleepy, hot, cold, and age work with the verb to be because they are feelings, sensations, and age. Examples. No tengo frío. I am not cold equals I'm not cold. Mi papá no tiene sueño. My dad is not sleepy. My dad's not sleepy equals my dad isn't sleepy. Mi profesora de inglés no le tiene miedo a las arañas. My English teacher is not afraid of spiders equals my English teacher's not afraid of spiders equals my English teacher isn't afraid of spiders. Mis papás no tienen 60 años. My parents are not 60 years old equals my parents aren't 60 years old. Betty no tiene hambre. Betty is not hungry. Betty's not hungry equals Betty isn't hungry. Esos jugadores de fútbol no tienen sed. Those soccer players are not thirsty equals those soccer players aren't thirsty. Remember the following. Impossible to use don't have or doesn't have because we are talking about feelings, sensations, and age. Recuerden que es imposible usar don't have or doesn't have porque estamos hablando de sentimientos, sensaciones y edad. Okay, remember that personal pronouns substitute pronouns. Examples. My mom is not a teacher. She isn't a teacher. My dad is not an engineer. He isn't an engineer. My parents are not doctors. They aren't doctors. My table is not new. It isn't new. My brother and I are not students. We aren't students. My name is not Juan. My name isn't Juan. I am an English student. I'm not an English student. Okay, now we have an exercise. Please observe the chart. In the chart we can see some names. For example, Anne, Angie, Susan and Bob, Charles and Mary. And we have 4 ideas. Number 1, be married. 2, be a teacher. 3, be from Orizaba. 4, be tall. And if you observe, we have yes or no in the chart. Instruction. Complete the sentences about Anne, Angie, Susan, and Bob, and Charles and Mary. Aquí recuerden que recomiendo pausar un poco el video para que hagan sus ejercicios y en las siguientes diapositivas encontrarán las respuestas. Okay? So let's continue. Exercise 2. Instructions. Look at the prompts. Write sentences with am, not, is, isn't, are, aren't. Lo mismo, recuerden que recomiendo pausar el video para que les dé tiempo de hacer sus ejercicios y en las siguientes diapositivas puedan encontrar las respuestas. Okay, let's continue. Answers. Complete the sentences about Anne, Angie, Susan and Bob, and Charles and Mary. 1. Anne is married. 2. Susan and Bob aren't teachers. 3. Angie is from Orizaba. 4. Charles and Mary are tall. 5. Angie isn't married. 6. Susan and Bob are from Orizaba. 7. Anne is tall. 8. Charles and Mary aren't married. Exercise 2. Answers. Look at the prompts. Write the sentences with am, am not, is, isn't, are, aren't. 1. Josh is a student. 2. Mr. Green isn't 20 years old. 3. Alice and her son are afraid of insects. 4. A tablet is expensive. 5. Smartphones aren't cheap. 6. Puebla is a beautiful city. 7. Monterrey is an industrial city. 8. I am not 17, I'm 20. 9. Rosie and I are good friends. 10. Chile atole is a typical dish in Orizaba. 11. Mrs. White isn't a chef. 12. My cousins are experts in video games. 13. Peter is an excellent engineer. Muy bien, chicos, pues les agradezco que me sigan, que vean estos videos. Estos videos les van a ayudar para seguir aprendiendo en nuestras clases de inglés. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.